Hey, Tobias.
Hey, Zach, it's Toby here. How you doing?
Oh, dude, you don't even know. Oh, so excited. Um,
Oh, that's cool.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Well, thank you for picking up the phone. How's it going?
It's been, pretty busy with school and stuff, but I am talking to the singer of Edguy and Avantasia right now. So, really
My
good.
condolences.
um, how's Germany? I know it's late there now, so.
Well, it's not really late. It's 8 o'clock, and well, it's been quite rainy today, but it's spring, and today is a national holiday in Germany, which doesn't really make a difference for me because you know it's like holiday or not. For a self-employed person, it's pretty much the same every day. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool promoting the album, and yeah, tomorrow we're gonna go to Berlin. We're gonna have a TV screening there for a boxing match. Where we're gonna play the walk-in anthem for the world champion, which is
Oh.
well, promoting an album that literally sells itself. It's and promotes itself. Well, there's worse things than that.
It sounds like a good time. I mean, that's got to be a lot of fun. Uh, you ready to
Well,
begin the interview?
yeah, no problem.
Awesome. All right. So, well, yeah, you're promoting your new album, Space Police: Defenders of the Crown. Awesome album. The charts have been great. Start with the title. Why did you choose these two tracks?
Well, first of all, thank you for the nice words. Well, why did we choose those two tracks? I mean, the first working title for the album was Defenders of the Crown because we were looking for something spectacular and monumental. We wanted to bring the message across that we have always been doing things our way, and we never did things the cliche way, but we were going against the grain and swimming against the tide in terms of metal as well. So we were. What I wanted to say is that we thought this is the ultimate way of being metal and delivering metal, and we've always done things our way. And that's what we thought, okay, if there is a defender of the heavy metal crown, it's going to be us. It was a bit tongue-in-cheek, but at the same time it was monumental. So that was the working title at first. And then we thought, when the record company suggested that, oh, that's a great way to market an album, Edguy is finally a serious heavy metal band, and, and they wanted to put, they thought, oh, it's great to put, a knight on there on the artwork and swords and all those cliche things. So we thought, maybe not a good idea to title the album Defenders of the Crown. So we had another song title called Space Police, which I thought was a very, very great title for an album as well, because it didn't necessarily suggest it was a heavy metal album, but it would have been very brave and would have taken a lot of bravado and balls to be a heavy metal band and call the album Space Police, because it rather sounded like something from Frank Zappa or David Bowie or you name it. So, well, we thought we should title the album Space Police, and then we were, maybe no, Defenders of the Crown, no, maybe Space Police. So we said, okay, they don't go together very well, and they got nothing to do with each other's, those two titles, but why not call the album Space Police / Defenders of the Crown, like a title and a subtitle, like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, or Harry Potter and the Chalice of Agony, or whatever. So, long answer. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's the answer.
So, are the two tracks related?
No, not at
No?
all. No, Defenders of the Crown is pretty much a very I would say it embraces the band's history in a way. It's a tribute to ourselves, which we're best at. No, but it's like we've just been. I've been sitting there and thinking and trying to resemble or remember what we have been through as a band and what we have achieved in the past 22 years. So it was a bit tongue-in-cheek, but at the same time it was a tribute to our past, Defenders of the Crown lyrically. And it was about what I just said, like we're the defenders of the heavy metal crown. We've not necessarily done things the heavy metal way, but, you know, getting so much flack, even from a heavy metal, from the true heavy metal people, you know, it takes a lot of bravado to do things your way. And Space Police is about, well, it's a bit about the musicians' police and about that, you know, morality preaching in the heavy metal scene that is going on. You know, people saying like, when you want to be a true heavy metal band, you have to be a certain way, you have to behave a certain way, you have to talk a certain way, which I think is not true, because my heroes, you know, they were people like Angus Young, you know, 40-year-old guy back then when I was starting out as a musician. He was a 40-year-old guy jumping across the stage in a schoolboy's uniform, showing his bare ass, and Dee Snider of Twisted Sister, you know, being like 7.5 foot tall and, you know, going on in drag. And those people seem to refuse to grow up in a way and do things their way and not give a whatever. And that's something that I appreciated about heavy metal. And all of a sudden, when you're a young musician, you start out and you're doing things because you believe in them. You become a rock and roll musician and a heavy metal musician because you think that's the way of life, where nobody wants to tell you what to do, where you are in charge of whatever you do, and the sky's the limit in a way. And then you do your first album, it's all cool. You do the second album, you know, more and more people get into what you do. You do the third album, and all of a sudden, there are plenty of people who exactly know what you should do. And they pretend that they know much better what's good for you than you know yourself. And that's something that I thought when I started out, it would never happen in the rock and roll world. I thought that's what's going to happen when you become a banker or whatever, something serious. But, you know, it was really tough for me to learn that even in the music world, a lot of people want to tell you what to do. And that's what Space Police is about. It's about the police in a certain field where there should be no police. People who come up with rules in a field where there should be no rules. You know, like I was referring to an astronaut, a young musician, just like an astronaut. You go and you're shooting off to space to experience limitlessness and zero gravity. And all of a sudden, you know, you're up there in space, and you're taking off, and all of a sudden you meet somebody who says, no, you cannot do this here, and you cannot do that here. That was weird to me. That was what Space Police is about. What both tracks have in common is that they are both very descriptive of what this band stands for, and that's maybe the only connection and the only link between the two songs.
Well, that's awesome. I love the whole concept behind Space Police, and it's one of the things I love about metal. There really is no boundaries. There are Apocalyptica, for an example. They use cellos. They don't have traditional guitar and bass. Van Canto, they're a cappella. There's so much variety, and it's the policing is. It just inhibits it. It hurts the creativity. So I love that.
It hurts if you give in to it, but you know, sometimes we always refuse to listen to people, and we said a lot of things that you must not say, and we did a lot of things that you must not do if you want to be successful. And I mean, obviously we're not as successful as the Rolling Stones, but you know, you can't really deny that we are successful in a certain way. So. It's really, really, really hard at times to be getting all that flack that we had been getting throughout our career, and nevertheless don't give a damn, and just go for it and go for your, you know, do what you believe, and do things your way, and it's difficult. But when you don't give in, and some fans even think that's rip off. Oh, they don't listen to what we are demanding. No, that's honesty. You should be an honest artist and do things the way you want to do things. And that's the most precious gift you can give to your fans is honesty and authenticity as an artist. And I think when you don't give a damn, it's beautiful, and then the sky's the limit. You can do anything, and I'm very old-fashioned, very romantic, and my heroes, like Ozzy Osbourne or Iron Maiden and Kiss and AC/DC and Twisted Sister, those bands, I don't really think they were giving in to other people's demands. I think they were just doing what they thought was right, what they believed in, and that was, it was a very fertile ground for creativity, I think, and for new explorations.
Well, keep going where no man has gone before, and so upcoming touring plans. I see you're going to be touring through Europe over the next couple months. Any plans for U.S. tours in the future?
There's no real plan right now. All I can say is that I think it's very likely that we will return to American soil. I mean, to U.S. soil. I mean, it's just a matter of time when it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen in 2014. I think it may happen in 2015. It's very likely it may happen. I don't know the scope. I don't know if we're going to do a special guest tour or if we're going to do a certain amount of headlining shows. I have no clue. All I know is that we seriously regret that we haven't been over with the Age of the Joker album. But it was just, it was just lack of option. We have to admit that America, we've been touring over there a couple of times, and it was always good, but it's really difficult to make it financially work to go over, bring the show. I mean, we obviously can't play the venues in America that we can play here in Europe or in South America or Asia maybe. It's a little bit different, and it's tougher for us being a European heavy metal band. But I think we're going to come over, but I can't tell you exactly when, and I cannot tell you if it's going to be a special guest tour or a headline tour. What I would prefer is go over and play like a set of 10 to 15 headlining shows from East Coast to West Coast. It's just we should focus on the big cities and not the smaller places. That's not because I don't want to play the smaller places, but it's so expensive to play. I don't want to name any city in particular, but you know what I mean. Just playing one city on the way from one big city to another big city, playing a little town in between. That was what killed us financially on the last tours. So, well, long answer, no real answer at the same time. I can promise you we're going to work hard, and I think there is a 95% chance that we will be on American soil with that album.
Well, I hope so. I hope you get to come to the Pittsburgh area for it. And I totally get what you're saying. Our heavy metal, especially bands from your area of the world, they don't get the reception here. I saw, just a couple weeks ago, I saw Sabaton at a show, and they were an opener, and the venue was half full, even with bands like Iced Earth as the headliner. And I don't know, as a fan, it's even embarrassing, because they can play a show like Poland Woodstock, is the example I'm using, and 500,000 people, and come here and it's half full. So,
Yeah, well, it's okay. Now you mentioned probably the biggest mainstream festival in the world.
Yeah.
So it's not like when Iced Earth and Sabaton playing Frankfurt, it's not 500,000 people.
Yeah, I was.
So it's not the land of milk and honey as you probably may think, referring to that Woodstock festival, Poland. But yeah, it is true. I mean, it's more difficult for that kind of music to play in the U.S. I know that, and we've experienced that ourselves on numerous occasions. So I know exactly what you're talking about, but I think it works. You can play in the U.S. It's just the country is so big. I mean, there's 5 times as many people as maybe 4.5 times as many people as there are living in Germany. So you have a large population, but at the same time, the country is bigger. I don't know exactly, but I think it's a little bigger than whole Europe. So it's difficult. There's a lot of traveling and a lot of huge distances, and I think the whole scene is it's more difficult to have that basic underground scene. In Europe, you have, of course, you have the different countries, and then you have, in each country, you have fanzines, and you have magazines, and you have, you have a real, it's like a conspiracy thing. It is a real scene in the U.S. You can either get on commercial radio, or you don't happen at all, and that kind of music in Germany doesn't get on commercial radio as well. Of course, Edguy now gets a little on commercial radio because we're number 2 in the charts here. But it's more difficult. I don't think it doesn't work in the U.S., but it's just a different market, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's just I'm very thankful whenever we come to New York or Los Angeles. Of course, we're playing 1,000 people, but it's not a huge amount of people compared to what Kiss and Def Leppard's gonna experience this summer. But it's still worthwhile going, and nothing an American heavy metal fan should be embarrassed about.
Those are just the musings of someone who does not see many who appreciate bands like you guys, or at least not as many as I believe there should be.
Well, it's just then at least we can feel as an elite, an elite or whatever. What? How do you pronounce it in America? Elite or elite?
Elite.
Elite, yeah. Yeah, that's so. It's it is the way it is, and there's no. I've never been perceiving things. I've never seen the glass half empty. You just said 5 minutes ago. You just said that the clubs were half full. That's the right way to perceive it. They could have been half empty as well. So it's just nothing to complain about. Just we don't complain. We just do whatever needs to be done. We appreciate what we're doing. There's 500 people. There's 500 people. There's 5,000 people. There's 5,000 people. I don't say it doesn't matter, but it's great to be playing in front of 500 people who appreciate what you're doing on stage. 500 people coming, traveling 150 miles, some people even more. I can tell you, we were playing with Avantasia last summer. We were playing one show in North America. It was in Quebec. It was, I don't know exactly how many people it was, but around 8,000 people coming for that one Avantasia show. People have been traveling for I think some people came even from Mexico, some people from all over the USA flying in to see that show in Quebec. And that's something, okay, now 8,000 people is nothing really to complain about. But even in the smaller scope, if you're playing a club with 500 people, there is people coming from everywhere. You should be thankful for that. And you will never hear us complain about that. We're happy to be able to live our dream and do this. This is our profession, but it's also our passion, and there's nothing to really complain about. It's just we just plow our way into the future, whatever it holds for us, but we're plowing our way into the future, and then we improvise from there.
Oh, that's a really good mindset to have about that. I know if I would have known about the Avantasia show, I would have really tried to go. My personal favorite band, so. But, question, is there any way to get Edguy or Avantasia merch in the U.S.? I know it's a little hard.
Um, Actually, I think Edguy's got a merchandise deal over there. I just don't. We're a self-managed band in a way. I mean, we have management, but it's run by us. So, but I have right now. I don't have the name of the company, but I know that there is some merch of Edguy. There's no official merchandise of Avantasia for Avantasia over there, but we're working on it right now. We have an online store at the website, and I know that the shipping costs right now are ridiculously high.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense because for those shipping costs, you can actually buy a printing company in the U.S. and print them yourself. But we're working on reducing shipping costs and trying to find ways to run that business over there and ship shirts from Europe to the U.S. Yeah, that's how it's going to work in the near future. But with Edguy, we also have somebody taking care of it in the U.S. But I don't know the name right now of the company. It was a deal that was made on the Rocket Ride tour over there, and I think they still have some of the merchandise rights.
Well, as long as me and the rest of the fans will be able to rep for you guys sometime in the future, I think we'll be happy.
Well, as I said, we will come over hopefully in 2015, and then of course we're going to bring our stuff. So yeah, it's going to work some way or the other.
All right. So with Space Police, I know you got the cover of Rock Me Amadeus on there. I think it's an awesome cover. What made you guys choose that one?
Well, it's been a real popular song over here in the 80s, and I know it's a real odd song, and it must be even more odd for somebody who doesn't speak German. I mean, it's even odd for us. I remember when I was a kid, when I was 8 years old or something like that, I saw him on German. I mean, Falco, the guy who did that song. I was watching him on German television, commercial television, and I was just blown away by how tongue-in-cheek and megalomaniac and flamboyant this guy came across. And I liked the song because it is anthemic, and it's weird. It's one of the first white rap songs I think there ever were. I think it was in 84 or something when he did that song. And he was one of the first white rap artists, and actually he was not from the US where that kind of music was given birth to. He was from Austria, which is really weird. And he's even got an Austrian accent, which is even more weird. I mean, for us Germans, it's that Austrian accent is pretty weird. A Viennese accent. You can't say just an Austrian accent because there's different accents there as well. But anyway, long story short, we thought it was a weird choice to do a cover version, and our producer, Sasha Pett, said, there's hardly another band I can think of that could do a cover version of that song as a heavy metal band and get away with it. And that was a challenge for us, and that's why we did the song. And as I said, we're all fans, and I used to be a huge fan when I was a kid. So that's why we did that song. And it was really funny because when the record company heard it for the first time, they said, like, oh, no, wrong decision. Maybe you take it off the album and you're going to use it as a bonus track. And we said, no, maybe not. So you see, we always do things that the record label and the music industry specialists and wise men don't want us to do. I don't know if that's a smart business attitude, but it's fun.
Well, it seems to have worked out for that one. So.
Well, it worked, but we get a lot of flack for that song in Germany. But then, we get a lot of flack for whatever we do and say, so it doesn't really make a difference.
Someone's going to complain either way.
Definitely. And it's good that way because, people, 50% complain, 50% love what you do, and that means that, 100% of your what the music industry says, target audience, 100% of them talk about it. So, great, mission accomplished.
So, in the last year, you've had two big albums come out. One with Edguy, one with Avantasia. How do you approach writing differently from the two bands?
um, that's a difficult question because a lot of it happens instinctively. I mean, it's intuition. Whatever I have on the table, I give it all my attention and all my energy, and I never work on two things at the same time, two different things at the same time, because then you would have to split your energy and your focus, and that would make the results suffer. When I work on an Edguy song and when I work on an Avantasia song, first task is to the main goal is just to write a great, memorable song. I'm a very song-oriented songwriter. Well, that makes sense. So, no, I just want to write a memorable melody, memorable harmony, a memorable riff. I want to write something that I would want to be impressed by if I would listen to it as a listener, as a fan. And I just try to be my worst critic and my biggest fan myself. I just want to write something that moves me, that I want to hear. And then when you write with Avantasia, it's more sophisticated in a conceptual way. It's more of a web. Things have to be woven together, and there have to be 10 songs. There has to be a flow. There has to be a story. And sometimes you get in the back of your mind, oh, that could be a song that Bob Catley could sing, or that could be a song that Alice Cooper could sing, and that could be a song that Klaus Meine from Scorpions could sing. And then you get those people in the studio, and you make it happen, which is amazing. With that guy, we have to deal with what I can deliver as a vocalist. So that's I don't want to say that it makes us a little more limited. I have to admit that goes for all of us as instrumentalists. It doesn't mean that we are no good instrumentalists. It just means that we are 5 people. What you hear on the record is what we deliver. It's our style. It's our trademarks. So subconsciously, I think there is a difference. Sometimes you write for a certain singer, and I don't sing like Alice Cooper, but the track I did with Alice, it was something that that was written with Alice in the back of my mind, and it became an Alice Cooper-ish song in a way for Avantasia. With Edguy, it's just us 5 people, and it's a very distinctive sound that we deliver. If that's beneficial or a hindrance, I don't really know, but it's distinctive Edguy. 5 people going in there delivering the goods. And with Avantasia, it's just, maybe we should have a more bluesy solo here. Why don't we ask Bruce Kulick to come in and play? And it's great, whoever would work best for a song comes in and plays it. That's something that is more diverse, but it's less distinctive in a way.
Well, again, I love both bands, so
Thank you.
think they work, and I love bringing in all people. I ask this question to everyone I interview because I get a lot of kind of different answers, and I'm pretty cool with it. Do you have an opinion on Spotify and other type streaming services like that?
Well, I have an opinion, but I'm not very consequent because I think that our album is on Spotify as well. I hate it as a musician, I have to say. I hate it as a musician and I hate it as a music listener because not only because artists don't make money from Spotify, it's more. I believe in the old-fashioned idea of producing a piece of art, something that is made for eternity in a way. That sounds very epic and
Yeah.
very, but you know what I mean. I want to create a piece of art, 10 songs that should be listened to in a certain order. It's not that it's not like we shuffle or we put those songs on shuffle and say, oh, well, that could be the number one, that could be the second song, that could be the fourth song. No, let's twist them all around. No, we think about what we do. We have a certain order in our mind. The first song, the second song, this should be the third track. I'm so old-fashioned. For me, song number 6 is still the opening track of side B. so it's you know, for me it's a piece of art, and that starts with the artwork, that starts with the booklet, that starts with the photos. That it doesn't start with all that, but you know, it starts with that, and then you know it goes. That goes for the photos, and it goes for the flow of the album, and that's all in vain if you produce something for Spotify. It's just like the idea of delivering a single track. It's maybe a great tool to give you an idea and raise awareness for an album. That's what a single should do, you know, a single song. It should raise awareness that there is a piece of art, a new album of Kiss, a new album of AC/DC. But those bands never really were. They weren't one song bands. It was just, you know, Destroyer is Destroyer. That's the album. It's just, you know, it's that album, and you should not say, oh, I want to listen to song 8 over and over and over again. It doesn't make sense. You know, it should be one album, 9 tracks, or 10 tracks in case of Destroyer of Kiss, it is 9 tracks. And I believe they believed in each track, and they knew where each track should be. And that's the same thing for Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast. And I don't want to stream those albums. You know, when you stream them, you don't even have an idea of what the cover is like. I mean, what the artwork is like. I even think, you know, I even miss the smell of vinyl when I open my CD. Maybe I'm the wrong person to talk to about this because I'm very old-fashioned and romantic about it, but I just don't like the idea of Spotify.
No, it's there's so much, you know, with how the music, I guess, industry's been going. There are things that have been changing, and so I like to get a glimpse of how it is on your end and how the musicians and those in charge who, you know, really are the heart and soul of it, how they actually feel about it, other than just, you know, as a consumer. So.
No, but you know, it's like every musician would probably agree with me, but it's also for several reasons. It's also for the reason that, you know, Spotify doesn't get the musician any royalties. It's just very, very lousy. You have, you know, you have to have your album streamed 150,000 times to get, you know, to get royalties worth a dinner for the band, pretty much. It's really, really, everybody makes money from Spotify, but not those people who are responsible for the music. That's the other side of the story, or the other side of the coin. But even just from a creative, let's imagine we would get the same royalties from Spotify, or even a little more than from a physical album sale. Even if you would see things that way, I rather believe in the piece of art, which is to me haptical, physical, I don't want to say product because that sounds like music industry talk, but I want to have something like a book, a treasure, something where I know that the artist has been responsible and that the artist wanted me to hold it in my hands as it came from the record store. You know, and that's just what I believe in. But, you know, to each his own. I know that a lot of people don't care, and a lot of people listen to MP3s on lousy speakers and say, oh, it's great. it's cool. And listening, to 7 new albums every week. I mean, who can handle that amount of emotions and music if you take it seriously? It just doesn't make sense. So, the best thing would be just a time machine back to the day and age of E.T. and Commodore computers and Atari video games and Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast album.
Yeah, there really is nothing that compares to holding a vinyl or something large where you can see, you have the art, you have something physical, you have the books, the lyrics,
Yeah, it's exactly, but nobody's going to turn back the wheel of time. So I think some people will always embrace that feeling, and there will always be vinyls, and there will always be CDs and physical products like books. The same thing, ebooks. I mean, okay, ebook readers, that's a great thing, especially if you're a touring musician and you have 7 books on your whatever electric device. But to me, I want to have a piece of paper. I'm just right now standing in my library room in our house, and I'm just right now facing a shelf full of books and another one in this corner and another one in this corner, and it's just great to be staring at books and holding them in your hands. And I just don't want my life to become a hard drive. I just don't want that to happen.
That is awesome, because I totally agree with you. I love having a physical book over, a screen. I like, flipping through the pages, the smell, the look. It's not the same.
Exactly. Because it takes all the magic away. It takes all the magic away if you just have everything, in pixels and then a lightning strikes, I don't know where it has to necessarily strike, but then there's going to be a blackout, and then all your books are gone. It's really weird.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you.
You're one of my favorite musicians. Is there any way you can do a station ID for me?
I can do that anytime. Yeah. Well, what do you want me to say?
All right. This is Tobias Sammet of Edguy and Avantasia. Our station is 91.9 FM, WCAL.
So it's 91.9. Is it that?
Yes.
Well, let me write it. I'm getting old. Hold on a second. I'm just.
Don't feel bad. I had John Schaefer read the station information off my back at a show a couple weeks ago, so you're not alone.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. Yeah, well, but John Schaefer is old.
Yeah.
You shouldn't tell him that. But I know him. He's a nice guy, so I'm allowed to say that. And I think he looks a little bit like Gandalf.
Could see that.
Yeah, but Gandalf is a good guy, so
yeah.
No offense to John Schaefer.
I don't think he'd take any offense. They seem like a fun group. I've met them once or twice, and
and the vocalist, the new vocalist, we've been on tour with them on several occasions when he was into eternity. That's Stu Block. It was great to hear that he is in Iced Earth back then, because I think he's a perfect choice. He's an amazing vocalist with an amazing range and power, and a nice guy. So okay, I'm gonna do it. Okay, you're rolling?
Yes.
Hi, this is Tobias Sammet from... No, I'm not going to say Tobias Sammet. That sounds good, because in Germany I'm Tobias Sammet, and that's my name. But of course it's okay to say Tobias.
Yeah, say it however you want it said.
No, I'm going to say Tobias, because otherwise Americans may think, what is Tobias? Tobias, they know exactly how to pronounce it and spell it. Yeah. Okay, going to do it again? Hi, this is Tobias Sammet from Avantasia and Edguy, and you're listening to Zach Field for 9... No, not anymore. You're not listening for anything. Shall I say to Zach, or...
Just the station, just so anybody can use it.
Just 91.9 WCAL.
Yep.
Okay. Hey there, this is Tobias Sammet from Avantasia and Edguy, and you're listening to FM 91. Again.
I'm gonna get all these mess ups, and they're all gonna go into it.
Yeah, like the outtakes, yeah. Like, this is the German that can't speak proper English. Hey, this is Tobias Sammet from Avantasia and Edguy, and you're listening to FM 91.9 on WCAL.
Awesome.
No, WCAL on FM 91. How should I say it, actually?
91.9 FM, WCAL.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to get it right. Hi there, this is Tobias Sammet from Avantasia and Edguy, and you're listening to 91.9 FM WCAL.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well,
And,
yeah, I appreciate you talking with me so long. I was not expecting to get this much, so.
Well, it's no problem. It's there was nothing else I was supposed to do. Now I'm going to pack my stuff because tomorrow I'm going to go to Berlin to do that TV screening, and, well, yeah, nothing else I could have done, so absolutely cool.
Awesome.
No problem.
Well, best of luck on your upcoming tour, and I can't wait to see you in the U.S. I really hope I get to see you guys next time you're in the area.
Where are you based? Are you based around New York or?
I am not. I'm a couple hours away from New York. I'm by Pittsburgh. It's Western Pennsylvania.
Okay. I don't know which city do we usually play around there? Which area is it? Is it near Boston? No.
No. It's a couple 100 miles west of New York City. I'd say the big cities in the area are Pittsburgh, Columbus. Those are the two that come to mind that I know a lot of shows come to, at least in the area.
Okay. Well, I don't think I've played that area then.
Oh.
I mean, I don't think I've played that area before.
Well, if you ever do, I'm definitely going to be at the shows if I'm here.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell the promoter to book a show around that area.
Yes.
So at least we're gonna have one fan there.
You will have one dedicated fan who will buy all of the merchandise.
Okay, that's we have a deal here. Okay, well, have a great rest of the day, and thanks for being interested in spreading the word, and hope to talk to you.
Awesome. Take care, man. Have a good day.
Take care. Bye-bye.